running a sub 70 minute Hyrox in Copenhagen, it was time to tackle men's pro. Heavier sleds, heavier lunges, farmer's carry and wall balls. Out on my first run since doing Hyrox Pro on Saturday. It was sick. Yeah, not what I expected actually. I set myself the goal of like once I'd gone sub 70 in the Open that I'd give men's pro a shot. Yeah, with how this season went, like starting out doing 116 and bonking really hard and then having to figure out what I was doing wrong, adjusting my pacing, adjusting my fueling, and obviously I did master it, and I think I did 112, and then ultimately doing Copenhagen, doing 108, and that's like sick. So went into doing London, completely just like took the pressure off because I thought like I really wanted to get like a good benchmark and just sort of lay down like a good foundation of like, okay, this is what the race is about, this is how it differs, and then kind of go from there. Because I find that like having a good well-paced race in the bank and being able to get like analyze that data is far more beneficial than like blowing up and not really knowing where you've gone wrong. So that was a big one. So my plan was to basically get to the burpees and then see how I felt. So I would like just take a look at my watch after the burpees and be like, okay, if I'm on a good time, I'll push on, or if I'm feeling good, I'll push on. If I'm feeling okay, I'll stick with it. If I'm feeling shit, I'll ease off. And I think I went through halfway in 37, but I'd forgotten that like the first lap was long. So I was like, okay, like let's just enjoy this, like enjoy the moment. So breakdown of each station. Station 1, Skierg, obviously feels the same as Open because the format's the same. You just come off of one run lap. So for me personally, I approach that in exactly the same way, which is just ease into it, chill, let your heart rate settle. Like I always think with the ergs, like unless you're really strong at them, it's not going to gain you that much time anyway. So, and also like I'm in my doing it for the love phase. I'm not trying to break any records. And then yeah, sled push. So obviously sled push was the first station that was going to be very different to men's Open because of the extra weight. And I usually would warm up on the sleds during my warm-up session, like before the race. But this time I was like, I want to just feel what it feels like in the moment, to feel that weight and then just adapt to it. So yeah, pushed the sleds, took a rest halfway each time and just kept the heart rate like nice and steady. It's great. And then into sled pull. So sled pull was actually my strongest station overall, which is wild because that was like totally one of the weaker ones when I started out. But having said that, it is one of the ones that I've trained for quite a lot as well. So I've been training like sled push up to 210, excluding the sled, that is just 210 of weights, and sled pull with the same. But I find that like 175 plus sled on sled pull was best for me for practicing the technique but also getting stronger. And then yeah, burpees. Like burpees obviously is the same as men's Open, it's just 80 meters, but it is 80 meters of burpee wall jumps, having done sleds that are considerably heavier. So I think it was here that it started to feel quite different, and that you start to feel that like accumulative load of the extra weight. So that was kind of something. And then obviously row was same sort of vibe, nice to have a sit down. And then row actually was the first time where I started to like take in people around me. There was a guy next to me who was, yeah, he was a really cool guy, and we ended up having a sort of like cat and mouse for the second half of the race. And it was really good. I think like one thing I was really surprised at was that the sense of camaraderie was much more prevalent in the men's pro. It was like a much smaller group of people and everyone was just like super like, yeah, well done man, like, and like congratulating each other. And I had never had that on like the finish line with people I didn't know. You know, obviously you have it in the change rooms around the event and stuff, but there was just actually a real nice sense of camaraderie in the pro division, which I was not expecting, but I was very grateful for. And then yeah, into farmer's carry. So man, that was a beast. It felt like your fucking shoulders were gonna get ripped out your shoulder blades. Like, it's crazy, but it's good fun. I think that was one of the ones that had the most noticeable difference from open to pro. Like, I obviously have been training that quite a bit. I've been doing this thing where I just do lunges with heavy dumbbells, so you kind of train both things at the same time. And then yeah, into lunges. So obviously 30 kilograms, that's 50% heavier, and that's one of those ones where it wasn't like super bad on the legs, but I wasn't pushing it because I was so wary of like pushing it too hard and blowing up. But like, the main thing that was hard about it was just holding on to that bag. Like, it's a weird position, like a weird shape anyway, but like when your arms are pumped after farmer's carry, it's quite difficult. And then after that, like, my legs were definitely feeling it, calves were tight, and thankfully the last run lap was a short one, so I went into wall balls. And I know in training that like, if I do like 25 wall balls at 10 kilograms, like, completely blows out my core, I lose my form. So there's still a lot of work to be done there. And it was just like, I want to just go into this station and enjoy it, because about 3/4 of the way through the race, like, I just realized like, damn, I had such a sick time and I was so lucky to be here, just like really enjoying the moment. And I actually got a bit of runner's high, which is amazing, like, to get it during that event. So I went into the wall ball station, tried to find where my wife and Jack were, and then just like, I'm just gonna do 10 sets of 10. And then I ended up doing a bit more for one rep because the wall ball judge was getting in my face. But yeah, I mean, all in all, it was a great time. And then yeah, crossed the line in 1:16, and it was absolutely banging. Probably my favorite Hyrox experience yet. It was so much fun. So what are my key takeaways? I think the main thing I was obviously blown away by was the sense of camaraderie, like both out on the track and finishing. I thought with it being pro, like, people would be taking it a lot more seriously, and obviously people were, but there was like a bit more of a lightness to it, like we were all in it together. And that's something I really love about these kind of events. So that was number one. Number two was the second half of the race is definitely harder. And now, in my opinion, with open, the second half of the race is easier. So that's something that I will be more prepared for next time. Number three, it's like the cumulative load of the extra weight in the moment doesn't feel massively hardcore, but over the course of the race, it really does build. And I think that there's just more strength and endurance, more core, like strong core work that needs to be done. Yeah, number four was definitely run your own race. You know, I had to really hold myself back to not get caught up in other people's race, and, you know, make sure that I got to the finish line in a good shape. And the reason for that is that, like, I've just come off the back of a big weight cut. So I went from 91 kilograms down to about 85, and I was just very wary of, like, I don't want to bonk. I don't know how my body's going to respond to this calorie deficit going into it, but it worked out well. If you want to find out how I train and how I've been eating and changing my diet to drop over 6 kilograms, consider joining. And then the final thing is fueling. Obviously, with it being in the evening, I didn't know what was going to work for me. So I just tried to do the kind of things I would usually do, like eat a couple of hours before, hydrate right up until I do it, but obviously just do that 2 hours before the race. So whether it's 8 a.m. or 8 p.m, it's the same thing, and it worked well. Fueling felt good. Yeah, and in the run up to it, obviously, because I've been tracking my macros for my diet, I think it meant that I actually properly carb loaded, because I made sure I was hitting my carbohydrate macros and filling up calories to maintenance. So that was really good. But yeah, I think if anyone's thinking about doing the step up, I would say 100% do it. It's really great. And also, you know, just approach it like you should be approaching all your Hyroxes, in my opinion, and just go out there, have a great time, run some PBs, qualify if that's your thing, but just enjoy it. Like, you spend a lot of money to be there. You spend a lot of time training for it. Like, you don't want to go there and then just blow up and then have to wait 6 months to do it again. So find like smiling is the key and just soaking up the moment. Like, I think good memories and good vibes outweigh good times big style. So that's my takeaway from it anyway. Man, I love this sport. Catch you in the next one. Peace.